This is my sixth video lesson for Unit 11. In this lesson, we'll be expressing concentration in terms of parts per million and mass percent. Go to page 22 in the class packet. For the motivation, take a moment to read the article on page 22. Learning target. At the end of the lesson, I will be able to calculate the concentrations in terms of parts per million and mass percent. Homework B number 6 will be a Junipod based off this lesson. Take a moment to watch a video on parts per million. The link to the video will be in the descriptions. Parts per million, or ppm, is another way to represent concentration. It is usually used for very small amounts of solute. The equation can be found on table T on your reference table. Parts per million is equal to the mass of solute over the mass of solution times 1 million. There's two ways you can think about parts per million. Either it's 1 gram per million grams of a sample solution, which is 1 gram of solute per 1 million gram of solution. Or you can think of it as 1 milligram per 1,000 gram of sample solution, which is 0.001 gram per 1,000 gram solution. Since the equation is on table T on your reference table, you do not need to memorize it. Keep in mind, solution is solute plus solvent. Let's look at the first example. A 2,400 grams of sample of an aqueous solution contains 0.12 grams of NH3. What is the concentration of NH3 in a solution expressed as parts per million? The first step is to look up the equation on table T on your reference table. The next step is to figure out what we're solving for. We're solving for the concentration in terms of ppm, so we're solving for this variable in the equation. The mass of solute is 0.12 grams. The mass of solution is 2,400 grams. If you're having trouble figuring out which is the mass of solute and which is the mass of solution, keep in mind the solute is always the smaller number in the solution. So we plug into the equation to solve for ppm, and we get 50 ppm using a calculator. Learning check number 1. What's the concentration of O2 in parts per million in a solution that contains 0.008 grams of O2 dissolved in 1,000 grams of water? Pause the video and resume as completed. The answer is choice 2, 8 ppm. So which is the correct setup? Choice A or choice B? If this was a free response question on the regions, you must write the setup. So which one is correct? Choice B is the correct setup because solution is equal to solute plus solvent. If you read the question carefully, 1,000 grams of water is the solvent. It is not the solution. Therefore, to get the solution, you must add the solvent plus the solute. Be careful on the Regents exam, because typically people get this wrong because they did not read this carefully. Learning check number 3. What is the total mass of the solute in 1,000 grams of solution having a concentration of 5 parts per million? Pause the video and resume as completed. The answer is choice 1, 0.005 gram. Here's the setup to get the correct answer. You're solving for the mass of solute. Try to do questions 2 to 7 on your own. Pause the video and resume as completed. Here are the answers. For the next part of the lesson, we are going to talk about percent by mass of volume, which is another way of expressing concentration. The equation is the same as percent composition, which we cover in Unit 6. Let's look at the first question. A solution is made by dissolving 50 grams of NaCl in 200 grams of water at 50 degrees Celsius and standard pressure. What is the percent of mass of NaCl? The first step is to look up the equation on table T. Percent composition can be found on table T on your reference table. The equation is percent composition by mass is equal to mass of part over mass of whole times 100. By looking at the question, the mass of part is the solute, which is 50 grams of NaCl. The mass of whole will be the solution, which is 50 grams plus 200 grams, the mass of solvent plus the mass of solute. Next, we plug into the equation, and we get 20%. That is the percent of mass of NaCl in the solution. Try to do questions 2 to 3 on your own. Pause the video and resume as completed. Here are the answers. This concludes the video lesson. Remember to do the Junipod homework.